what we've tried to create here is the environment where people are going to test you constantly, and we want you to test back. And that's, I think, the thing missing in a lot of programs is there's no pushback. Like, okay, we're saying this to you, come back at us.
Yeah. I think we just roll into it. I don't think we have to do introductions anymore. I think we just start talking.
Yeah, I thought you were just starting.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm talking right now.
You haven't said anything.
Here we are.
All right, I just got to point out one thing. I love our sponsors.
Sure.
New Yetis.
Yeah.
Peoplease. And no followers. They sent them to us.
Yeah.
I feel special.
That's great. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. It's nice to be supported, you know? Thanks, Peoplease. If you need support for your HR and business needs, hit up Peoplease. Use our code PPLSTRIKE, PPLSTRIKE, for a discount at checkout.
Yeah, it's
I assume that's how you check out.
PPLSTRIKE. It's not People Strike. It's PPLSTRIKE.
Didn't I just say PPL?
No, you said People Strike.
But didn't I spell it? Yeah, PPL. I spelled it letter by letter. Because you're reading the shorthand for the word PPL.
But that's
if you said PPL as I would say people.
No, you wouldn't. You said PPL. Maybe I wasn't talking about people.
Okay, so PPL, BRB, TTYL is how we talk from now on. I'm going to answer
you.
That's how we talk from now on in text messaging? If you do that. This is ridiculous. In any way.
I'm talking to text to you anyway.
What I'm saying is our code, if you would say it, is People Strike. It's not PPL Strike.
You're going to confuse people.
I literally spelled it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to confuse PPLs.
No, you're saying you're going to confuse PPLs. I'm saying you're going to confuse people.
The code to get a discount from us is PPL Strike.
No, it's People Strike or PPLSTRIKE.
If you type in People Strike, the whole word, you are not getting a discount.
In any event,
okay, we'll see.
I literally spelled it out.
When you get confused, DM
letter by
him.
letter. I spelled it out letter by letter. Letter by letter. PPLSTRIKE. I don't know how much clearer I can be. If you can't handle that, shut it down. Shut your business down. Shut it all down. Shut your life down. Be done. I'm so sick of saying People Strike.
Thank you, Peoplease.
Thank you, Peoplease. Feel free to send over an HR expert to help me handle this situation.
Because I know you have best practices with smelly employees.
I didn't shower one day. I had one busy day, and all of a sudden I'm smelly. If you work for Peoplease, please send over someone for mediation for a hostile work environment. If you work in a hostile work environment, contact Peoplease. Use offer code PeopleStrike, spelled PPLSTRIKE, at checkout. Is it a checkout situation?
It's a code near checkout. You know how that works?
Yeah. I've online shopped before. I do shopping. I'm a shopper. Okay, anyways. The reason we're here today, Bob.
I thought we were done.
That's it? But the reason we're here today is not to talk about HR.
Not completely, but part of it's HR.
I mean, it could be HR.
Some of it might escalate to HR.
But we are going to talk about challenging your comfort zone because that's what we do here.
Among other things.
Yeah. But for good reason. You know, it's not just for the sake of being adversarial.
No.
Which if you ask my sister, she would say it probably is. And with her, it probably is. But
I'm going to say it is. You were a little hostile at the networking event.
I was, yeah.
She was a little hostile too. No, she was very pleasant.
She owes me deliverables, and therefore, you get a little bit of hostility.
It's a little aggressive.
Yeah, I don't do passive. I don't do passive aggressive.
Kind of passive aggressive.
I try to just jump right to aggressive. But something that has come up in the incubator thus far is talking about
day one.
Day -1 in this case, is talking about, you know, why we push people to challenge their comfort zone. And, you know, we really try to emphasize that we do want you to push your comfort zone, but the point of us and our team and this network that we've built is to be able to do it in a safe and nurturing way. That's why it's called an incubator, right? We help you incubate your business and your idea, nurture it, grow it, and go to the next step.
I think we also help you form it, because most of the people have a preconceived notion of what they're doing and they don't really back it up, or they can't back it up because they don't even know what questions to ask themselves, let alone the market.
Yeah. Well, I think it's easy as a business owner to get frustrated, especially if you're a small team or you're a single person team. The amount of work to do is overwhelming. And it's very easy to get frustrated, and it feels like I don't know how to get from here to there. So that's part of why we're here, is to be a resource for bouncing ideas and failing safely and all that stuff.
And to break some of those formulaic knee-jerk reaction business things that people just spit at you and say you have to do this, because that makes no sense to us.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a side note, right? But a lot of incubators are in a group setting. Ours is individual. You know, we work with a business.
Successive.
Yeah, one at a time. You know, we stack meetings, but that's for our own efficiency's sake. But the point of doing it individually, and we were talking about this last night, is that in a cohort, you do get the group learning where you learn from other businesses and what they're going through. But we have found that, especially in product development, so many businesses and founders and idea inventors are in such an individual stage that their needs and the questions they should be asking, while it is a similar theme, the individual questions can be very different. So that's why we structured it to be individualized.
And people weren't applying other people's experiences to their own. They were kind of blanket forming.
Yeah.
And we just thought that got in the way, so it was just easier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not technically easier.
It's harder for us.
Yeah. There are different levels of risk tolerance, and
that's a good way to put it.
And not being afraid of being wrong all the time, which I think we have.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think definitely, listen, I think it's natural and normal to not want to be wrong and not want to fail. But if you're going to go, but there's other paths you can go down in life if that is your priority ranking, right? One of the things we do is we go through design exercises and have people rank design priorities. It's the same thing in life. You know what I mean? Like if your priority is safety and security, it ain't for you. And I mean, that's part of
some of the things we do is mitigate some of that. We do kind of lessen it just by saying you don't know what you're talking about, because what you think your product does, no one else sees.
Right. And I think that is a lot of it is you may have a great product or a great product idea, and we're all guilty of this, but when we talk about it, it's our baby. We're so close to it that sometimes people can't hear what we're saying because we're so familiar with it. So part of this environment is to give people a space to fail safely and to nurture their idea and see, all right, how do I talk to people about my idea and break through to them? Part of doing that is going, something I'm doing now isn't working. And that's a tough pill to swallow. And it's something we all have to do. We do it on a daily basis. We look at metrics and we go, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Reevaluate, modify, move on.
But even if it's working, it depends where you want to go with it, right? Yeah. Because it can work, but your trend isn't growing enough so that organic growth isn't kind of back supporting what you're spending to keep growing. So, I mean, so we talk about constant improvement, constant feedback, constant, the market's always right, we're always wrong, because it's our bias, our assumptions, you know.
Yeah. But a lot of that is having process in place to be able to get that feedback. And a lot of times as an individual or a startup, you don't have time or space or resources to...
You don't have perspective.
Yeah, to have those processes. And so that's a lot of what we try to do, is help people come up with those processes. Once you know how to do it, you can, kind of rinse and repeat on your own and do it. But to do it, you have to be willing to challenge your comfort zone. Otherwise, frankly, why are you wasting time? Wasting our time, wasting your time. If you want to keep doing things the way you're doing it, and you want to be comfortable and you want to know all the risks and you want it all laid out and you don't want any potential road bumps or things you have to get through, then just keep doing what you're doing. You don't need us. You don't need anyone. Just do what you're doing, run your race, you'll be fine.
I mean,
probably won't be fine, but
There's that whole thinking where anybody can be an entrepreneur, and we always bristle at that, not because we think entrepreneurs are great. It's who you are. It's how you're built. It's your risk tolerance. If you want an idea to sit there and everybody just say it's great, definitely not here.
Yeah.
But also, where are you going with that? And I've always been shocked at the theories and the consultants that say, okay, prove what you're saying to me. Because we come out and say, we're going to disprove it. And if we can't, then maybe you have something.
Yeah.
And those are the conversations. And last night, we were here way longer than we expected to.
Yeah.
But the conversation was, the people are telling us what their products do, but there was nothing to back it up. Yeah. They were like saying stuff and like, hey, where's the proof? And they're like, well, I don't have any. Yeah. I have a lot of followers, but I have no revenue. Yeah. And we're like, well, obviously you're not communicating the right value prop.
Right. And it doesn't mean that your product is bad or that your market, or that your visuals are bad or anything, but it's all about that alignment of product market fit, feature benefit fit, problem solution fit, and having all those things lined up. And it's a lot to tackle as an individual. And that's why we do this, you know?
And the flip side is, what does the market hear when you speak? Because what you say to them, like we get DMs all the time and we're like, we didn't say that.
Yeah.
I had one the other day said, you always say the client doesn't matter. I was like, what podcast have you been listening to? Because all we care about is the market, which is the client.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? It's
well,
tough.
Change is hard. And I think what we've tried to create here is the environment where people are going to test you constantly, and we want you to test back. And that's, I think, the thing missing in a lot of programs is there's no pushback. Like, okay, we're saying this to you, come back at us.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want as long as you prove it. You know what I mean? Like it's...
And bring Mallomars.
Yeah. I love Mallomars.
I could tell you ate them all.
Yeah, that's because they only sell them in the winter.
I don't know what store you go to.
This is a known fact about Mallomars.
I've never heard this.
They melt in the summer.
That's tastier. Hot, melty Mallomars.
You're not buying Mallomars in the summer anywhere. They're not available.
I've done them online.
No, I've done the legwork on this. Okay?
Please send me DMs so you can tell me during the summer where I can get Mallomars.
No one's buying Mallomars in the summer. They don't sell them. They're only available in the winter. That's why they're special.
I'm going to go right to Nabisco.
Why? Are they made by Nabisco?
Can you check that? Fact check. I think it's in Nabisco. Yeah.
I think I see it in the top left corner.
Got it.
I
know my brands.
You can't buy Mallomars in the summer.
I'm going to
find out. Can you Google it? My computer's there. Go on my internet. Don't look at my browser history, Robert. That was all research. Research purposes. Listen, at the end of the day, my 2 cents, like my view on this, whenever I have something that I don't want to do, that's usually the thing I should be doing. And that is usually the thing I see the most results from, if I'm being completely honest.
Who you should put a team around doing it for you or with you.
Yes. But like if there's, and it could be the simplest thing, a phone call you don't want to make. I mean, we all have those things that we kind of put them off because either it's going to be uncomfortable or it's a risk or it's an unknown or something like that. Those are usually the things you should be doing as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as a business owner. The thing I want to do is come in here and put my welding hood on and knock stuff out all day. Get the machine going, do this, do that, work on the bikes, do whatever. That's the stuff I love and I enjoy and that I bill for. But the other stuff is also important, and it is oftentimes more important than that. You know, it's a hard pill as an owner to swallow, is that kind of my value added is more than the substantive work. It's the BD, the business development.
Right, but bringing it back to incubator and idea, product development, and all the people that are coming here to hear those words of wisdom from you.
Yeah, but that's what they should be doing too.
But they don't know how, because that's our job to model for them. Because
yes.
what DMs do we get? Why are you guys always arguing and there's no problems between you?
Because you
Why can you disagree?
Because I disagree.
And still work together?
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't get that, because they think everybody has to follow. And how unprepared most people are to answer questions specific to their company, their idea, their invention.
Yeah.
And I think we never talk about this enough, but I think that's a value add, regardless of what else you think about us and how we work. is just having those different perspectives, even in an assessment meeting, can be valuable.
And I think the person we met with last night honestly had more answers than most. Like they are in a different stage than most, so they had access to more data.
Mm-hmm. And they have some clients. So.
But they also knew, like, yeah, these are things that I don't know. And I think that's hard to say. Like, yeah, there's some things I don't know.
That hard.
You know, well, I think it is to
I don't
go.
think it should be that hard. We're supposed to know everything?
No.
The world's a very large place.
I know, but like when you're talking about your product or your business or something like that, for someone to ask you a question, it's tough to go, yeah, you know what? I'm not sure. I have to find out.
But not sure means I'm going to find out. I'm going to find somebody to have the answer. It doesn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you should always doubt your own business or company. Like you should always be saying, I don't know enough. Like I got to learn more. I got to figure this out. Like,
but what I'm saying is contrary to popular belief. I feel like the popular notion, the Shark Tank notion is be an expert in your business, have all the answers. I am more partial to you know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
But that's that theory thing. Like, here's the theory. It's always going to work. You do step A, B, C, and then you're going to get to the finish line.
Well, I think that's why a lot of entrepreneurs and founders have frustration is because you can do everything right and it still doesn't work out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the point of an incubator or what we do.
This incubator and podcast.
Is even when you do everything right and it doesn't work out, sometimes it helps to have a team to step through those things with you and bounce ideas around. Take our shared expertise and our shared knowledge and say, here's how we would apply this to your business. Here are the questions we think you should be looking at.
Regardless if you interact with us or not, like this podcast isn't to just completely attract everybody to us. It's just to make people think differently than what they've heard from other people, maybe push against their own preconceived notions.
Yeah.
People, and this is my feeling, I could be wrong, but when we have these meetings, and especially the person you're going to bring up, that didn't make it to the incubator because they were stopped in the interview stage.
Yeah.
They treat pushback like we're judging them as people. And that's never our intention. We are talking about the product and the business. I don't know how to bridge that better even in the incubator because I felt that even our incubator members last night felt a little judged. And we weren't doing that. But I don't know how to train them not to feel judged because that's a natural human reaction.
I wasn't picking up on that in this particular case, but I do agree with you.
The one who didn't make it to, absolutely.
I agree. And I do agree with you. It is hard to not feel judged, and it's also, I want to be clear about two things. When we talk here about what goes on with the incubator, it's not to judge or look down on or make light of any of these things. It's the whole point we started the podcast was to bring to light these things that we are doing in real life to paint a realistic picture for someone else who's going to go through it. So I hope that no one takes offense to any of this stuff. That's not the intention. But it is the real life of it, which is business isn't for everybody. We're not for everybody. We certainly try to create reasonable access and resources and create a nurturing environment where people can fail safely. But it's not for, if you are not comfortable with being uncomfortable, point blank, we are not for you. Like it's something we do all the time.
Collaboration means compromise. And if you're not willing to yield anything, then you definitely won't work here. But I don't see how it's ever going to work anywhere.
Well, even think about like how many times you've gone to events, trade shows, whatever it may be. The amount of information you had going in versus when you got there. I've gone to a lot of events, trade shows, all this stuff going, here's what I know. It's a limited set of facts, and I'm going to go into it because I think I'm going to get something out of it, and it's a big unknown. I'm going to go from here to South Dakota to go to a motorcycle show and bring my bike and put it on display in hopes that I make some sort of connection or make some sort of progress or something like that. That time that, we were talking about recently, I was on the road, when I was an apprentice, I was on the road for 40 days or something like that, across the country to Vegas, to LA, to Northern Cali, back to Vegas, back to Cali, and then and we were gone because we just kept getting new opportunity. It was, we went for this event. At that event, we got offered this thing, and it made sense to do it, and then this, and then that, and then this, and then that. And it was just constantly saying yes to things that made sense. It was, you know, there's a lot of discomfort in that. You know, what did we want to do? We wanted to go home and sit on the couch, but we had things to do. You know what I mean? And that is the nature of being a small business, and honestly, even being a big business, like.
That doesn't change.
Yeah.
I don't care how big your company is.
Yeah.
You got to stay connected to the markets.
Yeah.
And to the people around you that care about you and the people that don't care about you, because everybody's perspective has a value if you take it or not, right? Yeah. But I was going to say, if we're going to sum up what to do regardless if you're here or somewhere else, is I think if you go into any situation thinking you know all the answers, then you might as well not go to that situation, because it's a waste of time. I mean, we have policies for all of our companies where anywhere you go, you got to learn something, good or bad. Like, I'm never going to do that because of what I just saw, or I really like the way they do that. How do we adopt that here? And, you know, we all journal, you know, all the things we talk about and the things we're creating for our audience, and a new journal for entrepreneurs and inventors, one of our co-branded stuff coming out. But I think mindset-wise about change is if you don't go in wanting to learn something, then you're just wasting your own time, but you're also wasting resources and other people's time. So regardless if you're talking to us, and I'm thinking about the person who didn't make the incubator, they were so rigid that it wasn't even worth continuing the conversation because everything we said had a pushback. Like, we couldn't say almost anything without a pushback. And at that point, there's no collaboration, there's no compromise, there's no real conversation. It's like, I'm going to say something, somebody's going to attack it.
Yeah. And if your way works, you know, your way that you're set in, if you're like, this is the way I do it, and it works, you don't need us. You know what I mean? You do it on your own. We wish you luck.
Well, hold on there. Because people say it works, and then we're like, how much money? Where's your revenue? Hold on. Where's your revenue?
But that doesn't
Where's
matter.
your metrics? Of course that matters. If you're running a business.
What I'm saying is, and this is my own bias, but what I'm saying, it doesn't matter to me. Because I'm not, when we're in that stage, that interview stage, and not just the incubator, even, and we've talked about this before, even working with clients, and, you know, whether for me it's motorcycles or bicycles or cars or parts or whatever it is, a big thing I look for is, does the client understand the work involved and what we have to do? And if we don't have that alignment, no matter what I do for that client, they're never going to be happy. And so I don't work with that client usually, because it's not going to be a mutually beneficial relationship. A good deal, in my opinion, is everyone compromises a little bit. You want this, I want this, we both give a little bit, that's a good deal.
Take care of our sponsor right here, Peoplease, who sent us these awesome Yetis, and they promised me another box before next podcast of something else.
Wow.
A surprise. We'll surprise it on
Quelle
set.
surprise. Use code PPLSTRIKE, PPLSTRIKE at checkout for a discount. We'll see you next time. Like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff.
Please.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, T.